Okay, so I think I'm live right now. Okay, so just do one thing, just confirm if I'm live or not. Okay. Yeah, from my end, it's showing me that I'm live. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm live though. And if you can't see my screen, so don't think about it because I'm like just connecting my X draw. So yeah, for privacy issues, I'm putting the screen off. Okay. After I've connected, I'll just put the screen on. Okay, so I have already connected it. So what I'll do is I'll now put the screen on. Okay. And by the way, like, why are so less people watching this? Like, no one is watching this right now. I think I should be like putting it on Discord though. Just a minute, I'll just put it on Discord and then I'll start with the video. Okay. Maybe I came live quite early today, so that may also be a reason. Leetcode. Okay, so I have shared the link. Uh, okay, it works. So you guys can comment, right? If anyone is over here, yeah, you can. You can. Just confirm if you guys can comment though. Okay, just confirm me quickly because there's not much people, so I'm also like not sure whether I'm doing this as a like what is wrong with it. I'm not sure though. Or rather, I'll just do one thing. I'll just check my live setting. Check. Okay, it shows that there's one concurrent viewer. I know that. That is me. Just a minute. I'll just put the chat this thing on. So there's just one concurrent viewer. That is me actually. But it shows me 4 views. Stream settings is okay, so I'll just check the edit. um, Allow automatic places, add tag, stream language, recording date, comments and reading on. I'm just worried about yeah, live chat. That is what I'm worried about. Yeah, it's on, right? Subscribers any duration, so it's on. Okay, so let's put it aside and let's do one thing. Let's just start with the today's contest. Nope, nope. Okay, so let's move on to the first problem. Okay, so this is right. Make array elements equal to 0. You're given an integer array nums. Okay, so just a minute. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through the question. Okay, make array elements equal to 0. You're given an integer nums. Start by selecting a starting position current such that nums of current is equal to 0 and choose a movement direction. You can either go towards the left or towards the right. Okay, and what you can do is like after you've gone towards the left or right, so you have to check for every specific position If current is out of range of 0 to n minus 1, that means you have gone out of the whole array. So in that case, the process ends. That is very obvious. But if the nums of current is equal to 0, then move in the direction, like in whichever direction you were moving. Okay. So you don't need to worry about decrementing and incrementing thing, because it is telling us that if you're moving towards the right, you move towards the right. Because if you're moving towards the right, it's basically current position plus 1. And if you're moving towards the left, it's current position minus 1. So that is what they mean by incrementing and decrementing. Else, if nums of current is greater than 0, in that case, what you can do is you can stop at that position. You can decrease the value of that element by minus 1, I mean by 1 basically, and then reverse your direction. Okay. And then move on. Okay. So just a minute. I'm having a sore throat. How many questions have you done today? I did 3 questions. I haven't done the fourth one because I woke up very late in the morning. I woke up very late in the morning. Just a minute. I just try to connect myself to the Excalibur. Actually, that is it. Once I connect, once I connect myself to the Excalibur, and I start with today's. I started by drawing, but I can't see. Okay, so I just go to Mindy Porcupine. Yeah, now you guys can see it. Okay. Okay, so let's start with it. Okay, start with it. So let's take an example of this question. Okay. Yeah. 10203. Okay. 10203. Let's start. So let's say we have having 10203. Okay. Now, what are the positions that we can start with? We can either start with this position, okay, this one, or this one, right? Now, the question is, which one is a valid position to start with? So let's say if we are starting from this 0, okay, from this 0. So now let's say we are going towards the left. So once we go towards the left, this becomes 0, right? Because we know that if it is greater than 0, you just decrement it and then you move towards the other position. So now we move towards the right, and then again right, and then again this becomes 1, and then we again go to there and here. And now since now this is 0, right? So we move out of the array. So this is obviously not a good approach, right? So this is not a valid thing. So we are going to choose the opposite thing. So let's say we go towards right and we make it 1, then here, make it 0, and then again here, and we make it 0, and again here, and we move out. Okay, like, are you getting it? Hey, man, how you do? How many questions did you do, Keaton? So basically, we are just moving out, right? In either of the cases, we are just moving out. So this is also not a valid thing, right? But if you're choosing this position, okay, and you move towards here, this becomes 2, then this becomes 1, this becomes 1, this becomes 0, this becomes 0, and this becomes 0, right? It may be, even I woke up late today, okay? Even I woke up late. So you are getting a basic idea what what the operations are like. But there is a very easy approach to do this, okay? There is a very easy approach to do this, and just notice this thing, okay? So let's say, think about it like this, that in spite of having numbers on either sides, you're having walls on either side, okay? Like, I don't know how many of you have played that game, like that the game where you can shoot a bubble up and like it decreases. So let's just think it this way, okay? Let's just visualize it like this, okay? Let's say similarly, like whatever you had earlier, it is going to be based on that only. You're having a few walls, okay? So if you, it was 1 0 2 0 3, okay? Now look at this. So one wall is 1, the other wall is 0, then the other wall is 2, then it's a 0, 1 0 2 0 3. Okay, so this is what the walls look like. And now if I want to shoot a ball, okay, shoot a ball. So if I'm shooting a ball from here towards the right direction, so what happens? Once we shoot the ball towards the right direction, this decreases by 1, okay? Because this block moves off, okay? This block moves off. So basically doing that, just thinking about this logic, one thing that we can tell is that if the number of heights, I mean the sum of the heights of the walls towards the right and the walls towards the left, both are equal, in that case we can say one thing, that no matter if we shoot towards the left, then also it's a valid thing. If we shoot towards the right, then also it's a valid thing. How come so? Because you don't need to worry about what the other positions are. You have to worry about what is the sum of heights that are towards the left of that 0 and what is the sum of heights towards the right of that 0. Because if there is that height, until and unless that height is present, you are going to be within that array, okay? And once any of the heights become 0, you are outside of the array, okay? You get it? So now in this case, if both are having the same heights, so it is like 1 2 3 4 5 6. The ball is going to be like this. It's going to be going in a zigzag pattern, okay? And all of them are going to be demolished. The heights, both of the heights are going to be demolished together. I got Samsung Prism Research Internship. Good man, good. That's good. So basically what you can come up from here is that you can either, in this case, you can either move towards the left or towards the right. So both are valid, okay? Both the cases are valid. But in case, let's say this wall was one height, like 1 unit height more than that, okay? In this case, in just for case. So in that case, if we move towards the left, okay, that is towards here. So now what is the difference of these two heights? Because this becomes -1, right? This becomes -1. Or rather, this doesn't move, so this becomes -1. Now the height difference, so it will, like this becomes -1, then this becomes -1, then this becomes -1, this becomes -1, this becomes -1, this becomes -1, this -1, this -1, this -1, this -1, then this -1, and this -1, and after that the ball moves out, but there is already also one left, one block is still left, right? So this is a invalid case, but we can make it valid. You don't have to think that this is always invalid. We can make it valid. How? If we are going to move the ball towards the right first, so now this becomes -1, and now both of the heights are same, right? So then that case is valid, okay? That is this, like you can do it by yourself, so that is also a valid case. But in this case, what happens is you are just having one direction to move, either right or left. But if both of them are equal height, you can have two directions. you move towards the left or the right, it doesn't matter, it is a valid thing. But if one of the height is greater by one, remember, just by one, otherwise we can't do it. So in that case only we can say that there's one valid case for that position. Okay, so let's go into the code so that you understand what I mean. I'm having a sum and I'm having a pre-sum, that is prefix sum. Okay, so in the sum what I do is I'll just add all the elements of nums, and then for every specific element what I'm going to do is I'm going to make prefix sum plus is equal to nums of I and sum minus equal to nums of I. That is, by the prefix sum what we're going to get is this height. Okay, and for the suffix sum we are going to get this, that is the sum. This is the sum and this is the pre. Okay, so I'll just write it down. This is the pre and this is the sum. Clear? And for every specific position we are checking if nums of I is equal to 0. Then we are going to check whether the difference of the left and the right is equal to 1. Okay, if it is equal to 1, then answer plus plus, and if both of them are equal, so answer plus equal to 2, because in this case you can go in either of the directions. In this case you can go in just one direction. Okay, so I hope this is clear, right? So I'll just open a poll and you guys are going to tell me whether I should move on to B or explain A again. Okay, today I solved only 3 questions because even I woke up late. I was going through the last question. I feel that I could have solved it, but leave it, man. Okay, so it's 100% B. Okay, that's good. This looks good. Anyways, people new to this channel, just subscribe my channel and like the video. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to B. The B is 0 array transformation 1. Okay, so I'll do one thing. I'll just delete the whole thing. Okay. Yeah, it works. You're given an integer array nums of length n and a 2D array queries, where queries is L of I, R of I, and what you can do is select a subset of indices within the range of L of I and R of I in nums, decrement the values at the selected indices by 1, and you have to return true if it is possible to transform nums into a 0 array, that is all the elements are 0 after like all the queries are processed subsequently or sequentially. Like it is not necessary to be sequentially basically, because if you're processing all the queries it doesn't mean whether it's sequential or not. Okay, so let me make you understand what it means. Okay, so let's say we are having a few positions. Okay, this is L of I and this is R of I. Actually I do one thing. I think my brush is quite thick. Okay, so this is L of I and this is R of I. Okay, now after that we are having some else also. Okay, some other numbers also. So this is L of J and this is R of J. Then this is L of K and this is R of K. So you can choose any number of elements. Okay, you can't see that, right? This is R of K. Okay, so you can choose any number of elements. Okay, you can choose any number of elements, and after you have chosen all the elements from that specific range, you can decrement some of the elements in that range by -1. I mean by 1 basically. Okay, so I think it will be better if we take an example. I think it will be better if we take, which example should we take? Let's take a big example. You've done D. Okay, good. I'll just check it. This thing is good, na? Let's take this example. 4, 3, 2, 1. This one. Okay. Let's move on with this. Rather, I'll just put it a little bit over here so that you guys can see it perfectly, right? So nums is equal to 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'll just rewrite it. Okay. I have sent something on Discord. Can you check that? Yeah, I'll check that. Okay, okay, I'll check on that. Now see, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now what you can do is the first query is 1, 3, which means 1, 3. This thing. Or should I use a different color? Let me use a different color. So this is the first one. And the second one, it is 0, 2. That is this. So in 1, 3, if I'm decrementing all the elements by -1, so this becomes, sorry, this becomes 2, this becomes 1, and this becomes 0. And then in the green area, I'm decrementing all by -1 again. Okay, so this becomes 3, this becomes 1, this becomes 0. So now you can see that even after doing the utmost, two elements are still not 0. So it's a false. Okay, it's a false. Now if we take this example, let us take this example. Okay, 1 from, oh, okay, sorry, I'll just use the black color only. 1, 0, and 1. Okay, now for the first, only there is only one query only, that is 0, 2. Okay, so in this case we don't decrement all the elements of this specific range by -1. We just decrement some of the elements. Okay, what are the elements? The first and the third element. So decrement by 1. Okay, so it becomes 0 and this becomes 0. So you can see that this is a 0 array, right? Now the question is, till this case, like these are very small cases, till this case it is very understandable that you can do it. Okay, I forgot to end the poll. Okay, so for these cases it's a very small, ranges are very small, so you can do it easily. Okay, but the main difficulty occurs when the range is very big. Okay, because it was given that we can have a range of 10 to the power 5, right? 10 to the power 5 is there, and the queries are also that much only. So I don't remember from the previous contest how many of you remember the sweep line logic. I explained it in the previous contest. How many people are watching it though? I don't think there are much people, because okay, 6 people are watching it, and the comment section doesn't seem like that. The live chat, guys, just like be interactive in the live chat. Okay, be interactive. I need advice from you. I'm not able to solve more than one question. What should I do? DSA for more than. If you're learning DSA for more than, yeah, I get it. So if you're learning DSA for more than 6 months and you're not being able to solve one question, so it also depends upon various factors. Okay, like you are in which year of your college. It also depends on that. What was your background, like whether you were from a computer background or a bio background, that also matters, because if you're starting 6 months, that means that this is just a starting phase of your life, right? So what I prefer you is that look at those tutorials, and most of the time I just come live after a contest, so just go through my whole videos. Okay, and if you're having doubts, so since see, you're live right now, I'm live right now, so you're watching this. So if you like don't understand one question, you just write in the live chat that I didn't understand this, I didn't understand this part. Okay, so I'll explain you, and once you like go on understanding the explanations, so it will be clear for you. Okay, so as I was talking, okay, so I'll just explain the sweep line again. Okay, now see, this is the best example to understand the sweep line concept. You're having a set of numbers. Okay, And for every specific position, like till this position, then till this position, you can decrease it, right? I had a question: how much time should before seeing the solution while solving a code forces question? Depends. It may happen that you give it 2 seconds and you solve it. It may happen you give it 10 seconds, you solve it. It may happen you give it 1 minute and you still can't solve it. Okay, so like this happens. Like it's up to you. Okay, it's up to you what you thinking. Like your first approach would be like to do it within the click of a second, the click of your finger. But if you can't think of it and you just start blindly coding it, and then later on you understand that, oh, okay, so this was the thing. I should have read the question a little bit more. So in that shouldn't be the case. Okay, if you're very much confident that yeah, this question is this only, so just go on doing it. Okay, like you understand it after a few practices, after a few contests, you understand that okay, so this is how it is going to work. Okay, so that's it, nothing more than that. Okay, so I was explaining this thing. Okay, the sweep line. Now see, for every specific position. So now we can see one thing, that till this position it was 0, right? In this position it was 1. In this position it was 1. And in this position it was 1. And for the other positions, okay, for this it is 2, because this is also there and this is also there and this is also 2, right? Like I usually see the solution soon. Is it bad? You see the solution, like, are you talking about contest too? Because obviously in the contest the solutions are not available, right? And if you're going for Telegram, you shouldn't go for it. Okay, like as a beginner, you shouldn't. After you are like, yeah, after you get into it, so then it's okay to take help. But during contest, I'll prefer that you don't do it. Okay, do practice the question. Yeah, don't go through the solution like very early enough. Just walk on the question for 5 minutes. If you feel that yeah, I can do it in the next 5 minutes, walk for it for 10 minutes and 20 minutes, maximum 20 minutes. After that, you can go for the solution. Maximum 20 minutes. So you should give it from 5 minutes to 20 minutes, not more than that, and not less than that also. Like no, you can go for less than that if you're a good coder. Okay, so basically over here, where were we? So yeah, there's 2 and 1 thing. Okay, now see one thing. How can you tell whether this is a 2 or 1? Okay, there is one simple approach, that is you can. Which color should I use? Okay, I'll just use black because I haven't used black in this. So you can go on throughout this, and for every specific position, you have to check how many ranges are there, how many queries are there for which this range satisfies. The complexity of the code will be big O of m into n, where m is the number of queries and n is the size of the array, which is a wrong approach. Okay. So what can you do for every specific position? Okay. See this very carefully. Okay. The +1 occurs when we shift from here to here, and the -1 occurs when we shift from here to here. Again, +1 occurs over here and -1 over here. So you notice one thing. Okay, so there is a +1 over here also. Okay, so you can notice one thing, that +1 occurs when a specific range starts and -1 occurs when a specific range ends. This is a very important logic for you to understand. Okay, so using this, you can find out where you're going to have a +1 and where you're going to have a -1. And after you have it, okay, now let's say, now I'm going to like make the solution a little bit clumsier for you to understand. Okay, so at this position there is a 1. At this position there is a there is also a 1, sorry. Okay, so this is it and this is it. At this position there is also a 1, but at this position Sorry, not this one. At this position, there is a -1 because this ends. But if you're going for this position, then also there is a -1 because it ends. But this position, there is a 1 again. And at this position, there is a -1. But this won't be needed because this is out of the range. Okay. Now, if you go for the prefix sum till now, so this is 0. And then this becomes 1. This becomes 1. Now this is 1, right? So this becomes 2. 2. 2 minus 1. 1. 1. 1 plus 1. 2. Minus 1. 1. 1. 0. Now you can see that this and this, sorry, this and this, both are same, right? Both of them are now same. So I hope you get it, like how we are doing it, right? So it will be better if I go through the code only. Now, okay, so first let me tell you what the logic of this question was. So since you can do it by +1 and -1, after you have done the whole thing, this array, this array that you have come across, this one or this one, both are same though. This array that you have come across, you have to check if all the elements of this array and for the array that was given, if all the elements of this array is greater than equal to. I have a question that I was asking yesterday ICPC. Will you solve it after this? Yeah, we can solve it. So after this, like not after this, in this array, if all the elements are greater than equal to the elements in the original array, so we know that we can decrease that element to 0. Otherwise, we can't. So go through the solution. This was the first one. It's very small. Okay, the solution is very small. So for every specific, if it is starting, we are making it +1. No, I haven't done question 4, but I'll just check someone's solution and just explain it. Because I think that it was because of time only. And values of I +1 minus. Okay, so this is what I have explained. I was explaining till now. That is this +1 and -1. Okay, +1 and -1. And then we take the prefix sum. Okay, and after this, at this position, okay, at this position we have got the whole array, this array already. And after that we are going to check, sorry, not this. After that we are going to check if array of I less than nums of I, then return false. So if at any position we find that array of I less than nums of I, it means that we can't make that position 0. We can directly say it's a false. And if it's not so, throughout the whole array, return a true. So is this clear? Should I move on to C or explain B again? Okay. See, okay, everyone, 9 people are watching this. Is segment tree solution possible for B decremented non-zero element? See, segment tree is possible, but I don't think you should complicate the thing, because if you are like, if you can do it in such a easy manner, it is better to do it, right? This is basically a big O n solution, right? If I'm not wrong, m, then a n, and then a n. So this is basically a big O n solution, and a segment tree will give you a big O n log n solution. So which one should you choose? A big O n one, right? But I am not telling you that segment tree is not possible. You can just go and try it. Okay, it is also possible. You're right. Rather, if you tell me about this, the second problem, it is better to use segment tree in that. But in the first problem, I don't think you should use segment tree, because you're given the thing. I have like 10 months for my placement, and you give me a roadmap for preparing for the placements. Sorry. How I can contact you? You can contact me on Discord, Instagram. Okay, I'll just share the link. Okay, I'll just share the link of my Discord and Instagram. Uh, just a minute. Given n is equal to number of nodes, L is equal to number of leaves, D is equal to time to construct a tree with n minus 1 edges. If can print the edges, if can't print minus 1. If can print the edges, if can't print minus 1. Okay. Given n is equal to number of nodes, okay, L is equal to number of leaves, D is equal to diameter. Good question. Like this is a this is not an ICPC question, right? Or this is. This is an ICPC question though. This is an ICPC question. That's nice. Okay, so whoever was asking for it, so this is it. Okay, this is the link. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. Yeah, I'll just come to your question later on. Okay? Selva Raghavan. Zero error transformation part 2. So if you got, can you answer my previous question? Your previous question? Oh, sorry, just a minute. I have like 10 months, 4 months placement. Oh, okay. Yeah, that thing, what I was telling you is that go through DSA, okay, because since for a fresher, I think even for like experienced people, DSA is very important. Because even for 3 years experience, I heard from someone that they are checking for DSA instead of checking for just development. Because obviously, if you're having 3 years of experience, so you would have lost all touch of DSA, right? But still, they're asking for it. So yeah, just go for it. Just practice DSA and give give Leetcode contests as much as possible. You don't have to focus on code forces because code forces is like a kind of CP platform, and if you're working for placements, DSA is more than enough. Not CP. CP is not that much needed. Zero and transformation part 2. You're given an integer array nums. So it is very similar to the previous one, apart from the fact that in the previous one, the decrement and increment was for 1, right? It was plus 1 or minus 1. But over here, it is value of I. That is plus value of I or minus value of I. And everything is similar. So what you have to do is, each query of I represents the following action on nums. Decrement the value at each index in the range in nums by utmost value of I. The amount by which each value is decremented can be chosen independently for each index. And return the minimum number of possible non-negative value of k such that after processing the first k queries in the sequence, so you have to process this in sequence, nums becomes a zero array. Okay. Similarly, just like the previous one, you're going to do the same thing. Okay, do the same thing in spite of the fact that over there we were using plus 1 or minus 1, but now you're going to use plus value of I and minus value of I. right? But how you are going to find the value of k? Because in the previous one, you were just focusing on that whether it is possible to make the whole array 0 by performing all the operations. But over here, we have to find out what is the minimum number of operations that we have to perform, right? So there is a very important thing to notice over here. Uh, in the previous one, we were doing it in big O N, right? But now we can't do it in big O N. We have to check what is this, like what the first k elements. Now, if you're checking for the first k elements, don't you think that something like this is going to come into your mind, that there's a binary search? Okay. So what the binary search is basically, the binary search is basically going to tell us like how many. Okay, oh, sorry. Yeah. So the binary search is basically going to tell us that from the beginning, what is the position that we have to consider. Okay. So basically for the binary search, there are L and R, right? There are two elements, the lower and the higher. So L is equal to 0 and R is equal to M. That is the number of queries. So you can either take all the queries or you can take none of the queries, right? So these are the two range, right? This is the range. So for every specific mid, okay, for every specific mid, you're going to check whether it is possible to make the whole array 0 or not using this algorithm. Okay. And obviously in that thing you are not going to make +1 or -1, you're going to have value of I or minus value of I. Okay. So let's go through the code, because this thing, okay, boolean is 0 array. This thing is a copy of the previous question. So if you're watching a recorded version of this live stream, so what I'll just tell you that go through the previous solution and understand what we have done in it, and then come to the solution, because this thing it is a like carbon copy of the B, of the problem B. Okay, of the solution of the problem B. Just apart from the fact that over there we were making it +1 and -1, but now we are going to make it plus of queries of I of 2 and minus of queries of I of 2. Okay. Apart from that, everything is similar. Now we have a int m. Okay, because in that case n and m we were finding out, but now we are not going to find out m, because m comes from which value? M comes from the mid value. Okay, this mid. Now see, L is equal to 0, R is equal to M. Now this M is the size of the queries, and answer is -1. That is, if it is not possible, then it's a -1, right? So initially we are going to take the answer as -1. See, if you can't if you feel that the comment section, the live chat is not, like, you can't access it, it's very simple to access it. Just subscribe my channel and it will be accessible. You don't have a slowdown also. You don't, like, it's not like that after subscribing, after 1 minute of subscription, then only it's going to be available. Just I've just made the default setting that just if you're a subscriber, see, if you're a subscriber, any duration, it doesn't matter. You can, like, write anything on the live chat. Okay, so just consider doing that. So for every specific position, we are going to find the mid, and once we find the mid, we are going to make a 0 array nums queries mid. So if it is a 0 array till that position, so answer is equal to mid. Obviously it is possible to make it mid, and R is equal to mid -1, else L is equal to mid +1. That's it. That's it. Any doubt? Any doubt? Just tell me. If there is no doubt, we'll just move on to D. Or should I explain C again? This is a D, na? Yeah. Okay. D. Good. Binary search 29 place solution. Okay, good. But I will go with blue. So let's see what blue has explained. So what I'll do is I'll just move the live chat over here. Yeah, it is still visible, right? It is still visible. Okay, so what blue has explained to us is that you are given an array nums that contains integer and -1 value. Okay, so first I'll just explain the question. I forgot to explain the question. D minimize the. Okay, so someone has told me to explain C again, right? So whoever told me to explain C again, just tell me like which portion you didn't understand. Okay, just quickly tell me which portion you didn't understand. Tell me quickly, okay? Okay, so I'll just think. I just assume that you understand it. Okay. You're given an array of integers nums. Some values in nums are missing and are denoted by -1. You can choose a pair of positive integers x, y exactly once and replace each missing element with either x or y. In order to minimize the maximum absolute difference between adjacent elements after replacement, return the minimum possible value. So what does it mean? So I'll just explain what it means. It means that you're given a array among which some elements are -1, which means that they are missing. Okay, so you can replace this -1 with either x or y. It's not by y, okay? Either x or y. But this x and y is fixed throughout the whole array, okay? And what you have to do is you have to minimize the absolute difference, the sum of the absolute differences between the consecutive elements, okay? So one thing that you can come up with is that let's say this is 5 and this is 7, okay? So you have to make this in the range of 5 to 7, right? At least one x or y, you have to make it in the range of 5 to 7. And then you have another number. So similarly, you have to make this in the range of, let's say this is A and this is B, A comma B. Okay. So it is very simple until unless you're having just two elements or even one element -1. But when you are having more than one element -1, then it's what you're going to have which face an issue. Okay. So let's go through it. Function definition is valid difference. So I'll just go through the code. Man, he has got a very I need enough code. Someone said AI generated crap. Like, can ChatGPT do this? I don't know. Okay, so let's just check it. This function checks whether it's possible to replace all -1 values in the array such that the maximum array to adjacent does not exceed a given max. Okay, such that it doesn't exceed max difference. And then you are going to have a binary search on max difference, right? What have you done? Missing count plus plus. How many missing values -1 are in the array? Find the largest difference, return maximum difference. Binary search for minimum max difference. Yeah, exactly. This is what I was searching for. Zoom it. Yeah, I'll just zoom it. Just a minute. Now it is visible, right? Let me just do one thing. I'll just put it over here, okay? But okay, so let's go through it. This function checks whether it's possible to replace all. हाँ मेरे को भी वही लगता है. This function checks whether it's possible to replace all -1 values in the array num such that the like is the solution valid also. So I'll just check whether the solution is valid or not. Wait, सारे code copy हो गया. So anyhow, this is a accepted solution. Okay, helper function to check if a given maximum difference is feasible or not. This is easy. Okay, this is what he means is basically whether like the maximum difference between two adjacent elements is going to be maximum difference or not. It is possible or not. Okay, so lower bound and upper bound. Lower bound and upper bound. Traverse through the nums array. Okay, he is traversing through the nums array when an element is not -1 and is adjacent to a -1. Compute possible values. Okay. If nums of I not equal to -1 and I and I means that it is not the first element. Okay, it is not the first element and the previous element is -1. Okay, so that is basically the previous element is -1 because if it's the first element there is no previous element. So if the present element is not -1 but the previous element is -1, or if the next element is -1, so in that case what he is going to do is he is going to push nums of I minus max difference and nums of I plus max difference, one to the lower bound, one to the upper bound. Okay, calculate the minimum maximum values considering the allowed difference. Min value is equal to minimum element of lower bound dot begin comma upper bound lower dot end plus 2 into maximum difference plus 2 into maximum difference plus 2 into maximum difference. 2 into maximum difference. Why so? Why so? The smallest possible value considered the allowed difference. Considering the allowed difference. The allowed difference is maximum difference, right? Oh, okay, I get it. So what he is doing is, since the lower bounds are given, so what can be the difference between the lower bound and the upper bound? It should be like this, right? If the lower bound is at this position and the upper bound is at this position, so basically the difference between it is maximum difference, right? Now what he is doing is, so let's say he is having the lower bound or the lower bound. Okay, so this is the least position that he can have. Sorry, is it so? He was having it only, right? Yeah, the lower bound or the lower bound. Okay, so if the lower bound or the lower bound he is having, okay, next character. So if he is having the lower bound or the lower bound, so it means that he can move max difference and then another max difference to get to the higher bound or the higher bound, right? That is the difference. So this is very understandable. Okay. After that, what has he done? For each -1 value in nums, attempt to replace it with either min value or max value. The replacement must ensure that the new value does not cause a difference with adjacent values. Okay. Okay, this works. This works, I get it. If it's a missing value, try replacing with the min value first. And if it is possible to make the maximum, to keep the maximum difference like what it was, then it's good. If it's not possible, replace it with the max value. So you can either, so basically over here the x comma y, okay, the x comma y looks like this, okay. X is the min value and y is the max value. Because we are going for the greedy, sorry, this, I just opened the reading. Because we are just going for the greedy approach, right, in this case. So if it's a missing value, try replacing with the minimum value first and check whether this absolute difference between this and this is lesser than equal to maximum difference. Okay. So if it is, like, for every both the cases we have to check, okay. So we have to check for left neighbor and right neighbor. So if it is possible that after making it min value, this maximum difference, the absolute difference from that position to its left is maximum difference, and that position to its right is maximum difference or lesser than that. So in that case, we can say that min value is a perfect thing to do. So we are going to make nums of I as min value, otherwise we make it as max value. Okay. After replacing all minus one value, check if the difference between adjacent element is within the maximum difference or not. So now what we do is we are going to check for all the elements and check if the absolute difference is maximum or not. Okay. I mean, it's lesser than equal to maximum difference or not. If it is not lesser than equal to maximum difference, so it's a false. So basically what he does is, if it is greater than maximum difference, he's going to return false. Otherwise, he is going to return true. Okay. Very simple. This is till now it's simple. Okay. And now comes the main thing. Okay. Int missing count. So we are going to count what is the number of minus one. I don't know why we do it. Let's explore it together. Okay. Okay. If no missing values, calculate the maximum difference. Okay. So basically, if there is no missing value, so we don't have to replace anything with minus one. I mean, like, we don't have a x comma y, right? So we can directly say that we don't have any replacement, so we can just directly find the differences and return the maximum difference. Okay. And if all elements are missing, the minimum difference is zero. Why is it so? I'll just explain you quickly. So let's say if all the elements are minus one, so we can replace all the elements with x. Okay. So now the difference of any two elements is zero only. So no matter what we do, it's zero only. Okay. So this is what it means. Otherwise, we are going to perform the binary search, and this is not a large enough bound. You just have to make it 10 to the power 9 plus 1. Okay. I hope he has made it that only 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay. If we have got 1 over here also, if we would have got 1 over here also, then also it would have worked. Okay. Then also it would have worked. So now we are going to go for binary search for the minimum max difference. While low is not equal to high, and mid is equal to low plus high by 2, that is the midpoint. There is a sweep line over here, you feel? Um, is it? No, this is not a sweep line. This is not a sweep line. Oh no. Could we have done a sweep line? No, this is not a sweep line. You can't do a sweep line over here. I'm pretty sure about it. Or maybe it is possible. I can't, like, that is not coming in my mind, so just ignore that, okay? So in mid is equal to low plus high by 2, and if is valid difference nums comma mid, that is if it is a valid difference, high is equal to mid, otherwise low is equal to mid plus 1. Okay, this is very simple. The question is very simple. I just messed it up. I'll just do one thing. I'll just go throughout the whole code once again and at a very high speed so that you guys understand it, and then I'll just have to, like, I'll just end the stream, okay? When I is equal to 0, I less than nums. So, okay. So for every specific, if you're going to check if it's a valid difference or not on nums and maximum difference, what you can do is in the lower bound you're going to push nums I minus maximum difference. In the upper bound you're going to push nums I plus maximum difference. Okay, because that is the lower and the upper bounds that we can have for specifically. Why we do that? Because let's say you're going to have two elements. Okay, let's say we are having a minus 1 and a x over here, not a x. You're going to have a over here and a b over here. Okay, now after we have a and b over here and here, so what is the minimum and maximum value of minus 1, right? So that is what we are going to have. Okay, so the minimum value that minus 1 can have is basically that is the difference of this. Okay, so what is the minimum value based on the difference of that? So let's not even overcomplicate that also. So let's say we have a value of a and a missing number, this. Okay, so this number can be either a plus maximum difference or a minus maximum difference, right? So that's it, what he has done over here. Nums I minus maximum difference, nums I plus maximum difference. Okay, and calculate the minimum and maximum values considering the allowed difference. So now the allowed difference I have already explained it earlier. I hope this is clear with you guys. Now for each minus 1 in the array, try to fill it with either min value or max value. So if int of I is equal to 0, I less than nums of size. So if nums of I is equal to minus 1, try placing with the min value first. Okay, so first of all we are going to check that if we can make the specific minus 1 as the min value, or we have to see the min value is x and the max value is y. So either we can replace it with min value or with the max value. That's it. And then we have to go through the whole array. If the array is having a maximum difference of max diff, then it's a valid thing. You just return true. Otherwise you return false, because we can make it more optimized. Okay, I mean not more optimized. We can't make it that optimized, so we have to just uh, work on that more. Okay. So main function to find the minimum possible. So okay, so basically this part is like we have to find how many minus 1 are there. So if all the elements are minus 1, we can already get a 0. Okay, we can get a 0 because I told you the case, that is we can make all of them as x and the maximum difference becomes 0. And if there is no minus 1, so we don't have to perform any replacements, only just go through the whole thing. So these are the two cases. If there is no minus 1, this case, there is no minus 1, this case. If there is at least one minus 1, I mean sorry, if all of them are minus 1, return 0. Otherwise you're going to perform a binary search where you're going to check if is valid difference nums of mid, I is equal to mid, otherwise low is equal to mid plus 1, and then you return low. Okay, clear? Works? Clear, right? Quickly tell me if it's clear or not, so that I'll just end the live stream. Or you guys want to play some chess? We can play some chess. Only if like I feel that it is clear with you guys. I'm audible, right? I'm perfectly audible, right? Am I having some issue from my end? Is it? Having some issue from... No, there is no issue from my end. I'm properly audible. Okay. So that's it. I'll just end the live stream over here. Okay. Thank you guys for joining. Okay, so I'll just put the end broadcast and I'll just do this.